Yo, what is up guys? And today we're going to be talking about the long-awaited Moonlight KAYRON, which was actually kind of teased in the past, and also now we have the official sprite in game because you can see in the next Mystic Summon lineup, he will be available from the 11th of May alongside Shadow Rose. I think KAYRON will be kind of an okay unit. I don't think he'll be super strong or anything. If we look at his kit, you guys will probably understand as well. I think he'll be very fun to play, but just looking at how he will fit in the meta, it just seems kind of hard to see him taking over like other Moonlight 5-star units have in the past, like Conquer Lace and stuff like that. But I think he'll be definitely fun to play, and in the right team composition, you can definitely make him work. So looking at his skills really quick here, let's actually talk about his S3. His S3 is an AoE attack, and landing a successful attack, so you cannot miss, you will inflict 2,000 additional fixed damage. So it's base damage on top of the fixed damage, and when you are enraged, you'll actually have this fixed damage increase to 10,000. So this is a total of 40,000 fixed damage in a 4-target scenario, and on top of that, you're dealing extra damage with the base attack. You're also going to see when this skill is available according to the cooldown count. So basically when this is not on cooldown and it's available, you'll decrease damage suffered by 30% from the critical hits, and as you can see, as with other damage reduction abilities and skills, when more than one damage reduction effect is granted, only the strongest effect is applied. This should work with Aureus as well. This just won't work with Adamant Shield. So yeah, this unit looks pretty strong if he gets his S3 off, because 10k fixed damage on everyone is insane. It's basically Rimuru S3 on everyone, so you have to think about it that way. Pretty much if you get this off, you will instantly win. The only thing is, to get that extra fixed damage, you're going to need to be enraged. Now the enrage will come from his S2, guys. You're going to see it is a passive ability, and at the start of battle and at the end of the turn, you'll adopt a counter-attacking stance, so you'll get a counter-attacking buff. This can be stripped. This can also be prevented with cannot be buffed. You're also going to see at the end of an enemy's turn, when the target has a buff, you gain 10 fighting spirit, and when fighting spirit is full, you'll consume all that fighting spirit to CR push yourself by up to 50%, and that is where you're going to also get the enrage effect for 2 turns, which cannot be dispelled. So basically the way you need to actually play this unit is just survive, right? You also want him to have high effect resist, it looks like, so you don't get rid of that counterattacking stance, because the counterattacking will be very, very important for his S1, as you'll see, and you need to take 10 turns, or the enemy needs to take 10 turns with buffs to actually get to the point where you can actually use your S3 for that big damage. So I think you can even maybe use your S3 maybe once or even twice before this even stacks up to 100 fighting spirit, because of the fact that his S3 cooldown is only 3 turns. Just keep in mind that if you do that, you're going to be losing this damage reduction buff, so you have to be very, very careful. However, I think even without the enrage effect, it should deal okay damage at the very start, because keep in mind it's 2,000 fixed on top of the base, but your win condition is definitely going to be trying to get to that 100 fighting spirit. So you get that rage, and then you can use your S3 to be super empowered and do a lot of damage. Now his S1, guys, it is a single target attack that will do extra damage the lower the target is. And when you're counterattacking, you'll use Flash Slash. This is an AoE attack and will also give you a barrier, and this barrier will increase with your max HP. And you can soul burn this for extra damage. The way this works actually is, as you can see from his kit, you really want to maintain counterattack, because every time you counterattack, you'll actually gain a barrier and do AoE damage, and the barrier will scale with your max HP, which will be very, very nice with KAYRON setup, which will most likely run him on like a bruiser build. I think you're going to want to build him similar to like a very, very tanky Violet or something like that, something that can survive very long and also, you know, have that damage reduction as well from his S3, so you can survive long enough to actually get your rage from this full fighting spirit passive. You need to get to 100 fighting spirit to actually be able to get that win condition of that fixed damage being 10k. So I think the way you're going to play him is definitely just be kind of like a tanky bruiser, which is going to be kind of hard, because first off, his imprint concentration is critical hit chance, which sure, it will help him with building him, but it won't give him as much bulk as like HP. And also because of the fact that since he is a thief, his base stats for, especially for defensive stats, will be lower. And the reason why I don't think critical hit chance is that great is because fixed damage doesn't scale with crit. And honestly, I think you're going to want to stack him basically almost full tank, because of the fact that you need to live so long. Like 10 enemy turns is crazy, so you have to live that long. And honestly, like even with the counterattacks giving you a barrier, just keep in mind, like, he will have a lot of counters out of the get-go. Like, we also have, like, Rowana, we have Lua, anything that can strip him will be very good. So you have to be very, very careful with that. So you're going to want to build him on a high HP, high defense, and high effect resist build, probably 100% effect resist, so you can prevent getting stripped. Like, even, like, Angel of Light, Angelica, like, pretty much counters him because of the fact that you can, you know, stop his S2 from giving him that counterattack, and you can basically stop him from getting the, damage off with that skill nullifier from Angel of Light's S2. Overall though guys, I think this unit will be very fun to use. Will he be super broken? Probably not. He looks like he is just way too slow in the current meta. Maybe he can work if you build a team around him. I expect him to be like a late pick in drafts, especially in like RTA or even in Guild Wars against very, very low damage teams, similar to how you pick like Ruel or Dark Corvus, because he really needs to, stay alive and scale into the fight and make sure he doesn't die and get one shot, right? So definitely think he's a late pick into drafts. You want to pick him into very low damage teams or slow teams, and then he seems like he'll be very good because of the fact that he can ramp up very quickly, and the fixed damage will do pretty decent damage as well, especially a few turns into the fight. That being said, I'm going to be testing him out and pulling for him. I don't have enough mystics yet, but I should be able to get enough to pity if I spend all my sky stones. As you can see, I have 30k, and I have, I think, 1600, and then how many do I have to pity? 100? Maybe I can get there, but I'll be pulling for him and testing him out if I get him, and I'll talk about him more in the future when he comes out and give a more, accurate description of how he is, because right now it's just kind of like theory crafting. That being said, hope you guys are excited for ML KAYRON. I am for sure, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.